In the past, the technology was driving the customer service, but now it's more customer-centric and people are expecting much more content and self-service options from customer support. Turk Telekom is the first integrated telecoms operator in Turkey with a quad play offering. We offer mobile, fixed broadband, fixed line and TV, IPTV business. Turk Telekom is one of the most well-known brands in Turkey. We have around 39 million subscribers. We are the leading telecoms company in terms of infrastructure and broadband penetration. We looked at how people interact with companies with Turk Telekom, and we've seen that people still prefer traditional channels like IVR, email, live chat. But as the generations change, we see that people are going towards more digital channels like mobile apps and web self-service platforms.
There is a shift from traditional channels to digital channels in Turkey, especially because of the young population. But young people in Turkey, they don't want to wait and they don't want to spend their time waiting for an agent, and they are open to new digital innovative solutions like visual IVR.
We see that, in the past, the technology was driving the customer service, but now it's more customer-centric and people are expecting much more content and self-service options from customer support. We receive about 14 million visitors each month. Although that number is going up every month or every year, we see that the amount of calls that we receive to our regular IVR is not going down, and when we look at the number of calls that we receive each year, it's around 100 million calls per year. They always prefer to talk to an agent, but at the same time that implies increasing costs to companies like Turk Telekom, and so we've looked at options how we could drive down those costs that are generated through regular IVR costs, and we looked at what kind of technology would provide that to us. So we've seen that visual IVR was the technology that could help us tackle those problems, challenges.
We started with selecting visual IVR. We investigated in many different solutions, but we thought that the visual IVR will be the most convenient solution for us, and it can help us to decrease the number of incoming calls. And we have been in talk with many different technology providers, both globally and local. We have been in talk with one of the biggest IVR system providers, but Jacada has the most convenient platform.
We looked at a variety of vendors in the field, and we've seen that Jacada was the leading company in terms of their technology and capability. We shortlisted some companies that were offering visual IVR, but Jacada was the only company that had previous experience with implementing visual IVR successfully. We looked at a solution that could offer us a seamless connection between regular IVR calls and digital channels. So Jacada was providing that seamlessly, and it offered a fully customizable backend solution where we could integrate our own existing web services. And it offered an efficient reporting tool that could help us optimize our processes.
During our project, we have now about 16% adoption rate, and we have achieved 75% self-service adoption.
We started the pilot project back in June, and we received around 3.6 million calls since then. And out of those 3.6 million calls, about half of those calls were directed to visual IVR channel. Out of all those visual IVR calls, about 75% of them were managed through visual IVR on a self-serve basis. So we achieved a 30% increase compared to our regular IVR channel. We almost achieved about 5% savings in our costs, in our call center costs from our IPTV business, and we're expecting that to go up to almost 10% within next year.
The number of incoming calls and average handling time are two very important metrics for a contact center. But the satisfaction level of the customer is also very important for us. So we had very good results from the project, from Visual IVR, but we also wanted to analyze what our customer thinks about Visual IVR.
We called about 500 customers who used Visual IVR to understand their experience and their satisfaction with Visual IVR. And from the survey results that we got, almost 71% of them were very happy with Visual IVR experience, and almost 81% of them said they would recommend it to other customers as well. So that it was very satisfactory for us.
We have two plans for Visual IVR. The first one is to add new web services such as callback function, search, appointment services. We also want to make Visual IVR a service for our hearing and speech impaired customers. They will be able to use Visual IVR by sending an SMS about a couple of months. And the second plan is to extend Visual IVR to our other businesses, and we will extend Visual IVR to our mobile business in 2017, this year.
So Visual IVR is one of the technologies that we're planning to expand into our customer channels, but at the same time we're looking into new technologies like chatbots and artificial intelligence and virtual assistants.